Hey guys, so, a lot of you guys have been requesting an update on the situation with Chandler taking hormones. I think she's been on hormones for 6 months or more at this point. She's been doing more videos updating on it. Now, I didn't really want to do a video talking about that because, I decided a while ago not to do videos just specifically in mind advising people not to go on hormones or not to do transitioning surgery, because I find those sort of emotionally exhausting. But, she does have videos, and a specific video that caught my eye that I could make points in response to that are tied into that subject. So before I respond to that video, I do want to bring up that I will be available over the next week or so because I'm officially in winter break and I'm done with finals. So yeah, I'll be able to do that. Maybe I'll do a live stream on my channel. I think the strike on my channel has been removed, if I'm not mistaken, so I can live stream now. If you guys have any live streams, I will be able to join maybe, or I can just do Google Hangouts with you guys. I've been doing Hangouts and chats with my subscribers, but I will be available to do that a lot more. So that's exciting. That's probably going to be only over next week, though, because the week after that I'm going to be busy. I'm probably going to be in Tahoe most of the time. Anyway, so let's just get into the video.
Hey everyone, Chandler here, and I haven't filmed a video in a long time. What I wanted to do for this video was just kind of clear up some myths and misconceptions about being non-binary and me being on hormones and transitioning for a non-binary person, and what exactly maybe my childhood looked like.
Okay, transitioning for a non-binary person. I've said this a million times, but what is that supposed to entail? I understand that you might genuinely feel that you are non-binary, that you don't really fit in either way, but, there's no medical way to achieve that. I'm sorry. What am I supposed to say? My endocrinologist, I've said this, will not treat people who identify as non-binary for this particular reason. And she said, actually, she learned this the hard way. When you give people who identify as non-binary the mechanism to transition to male or transition to female, they will end up regretting it, because there's no way to transition to non-binary. You can only transition to male and transition to female, and they're not comfortable with doing either. So there's no other way. And the fact that you're transitioning to male but you want to be non-binary is troubling. I mean, I don't want to focus on that too much because I said that it's not what I would talk about, but let's continue.
And what I've been going through over the course of my life. So, without further ado, here we go.
So, her video is called Transitioning While Non-Binary / Non-Binary Body Dysphoria. The way that a lot of people define dysphoria, I don't think is genuine at all.
So the first thing that I want to say is I'm non-binary and I have body dysphoria.
That's debatable.
Never really talked about on the internet, partly because it's very impersonal for me, and secondly, I'm not obligated to talk about everything that goes on in my life. And that's something I've never really talked about on the internet, partly because it's very impersonal for me, and secondly, I'm not obligated to talk about everything that goes on in my life. So I never really felt like I wanted to talk about my body dysphoria.
I understand that. I genuinely understand not wanting to talk about your dysphoria, and all of that. I understand it as a legitimate excuse, but, it just seems odd that, just now, when people are starting to, question it, and stuff like that, it just seems like weird timing.
And I'm not going to get into details about it either, but I'm going to talk about a misconception that non-binary people never experience dysphoria.
Well, that isn't really helped by the fact that so many of these people say you can be trans without dysphoria, or that they'll say, I have dysphoria about the length of my hair. You're very much in that camp. She hangs out with Ash Hardell, and she is very much in the sort of SJW non-binary advocate. So, like, where do you think that misconception is coming from?
Or body dysphoria in particular. Which, one, you don't need body dysphoria to be trans.
There you go! There you go.
And there are lots of binary trans people that don't have body dysphoria.
Not true.
And two, a lot of non-binary people can have body dysphoria. I've been vocal about my body dysphoria and how it relates to my voice. I did not feel comfortable having a high-pitched voice.
So that is genuinely something that trans guys do feel very uncomfortable about. Like, I did feel uncomfortable about my voice pre-testosterone. In fact, I was thinking, because I did eventually want to start a YouTube channel, but I was thinking maybe I should put off my YouTube channel until my voice changes, but at one point I just got too frustrated with what was going on, and I just thought I had to do it. So that, yes, that is something that trans guys do experience. But just because you feel uncomfortable about your voice, and that is something that trans guys have to experience as well, doesn't necessarily mean it's dysphoria. And furthermore, that is something that can be improved. Not necessarily through hormones, but through things like voice training and exercises. Now, obviously, if you want it to be in a male register, it is something you will likely have to change your hormones. But she doesn't even specify that.
I've been pretty vocal about that.
Oh, no.
I hate myself. I'm so sorry. But aside from that, I also have a lot of body dysphoria around how skinny and lanky and generally tiny I am. I wish I were more muscular.
Okay. This is one thing I wanted to bring up. Okay, so, again, this is kind of like a gray area. It is true a lot of trans guys do feel insecure, and I want to say that more in a sense of insecure about things like their muscular structure. And this happens with me, where you look at other guys and be like, oh, they're so much more muscular, and why am I not as muscular? But that's not really body dysphoria, I would say, because muscles... I mean, it is true that obviously men have a lot more upper body strength than women, but it's not like a hard-set sex characteristic, and it is something you can improve, not just with hormones, but going to the gym and stuff like that. And it is something that she could have just improved by going to the gym. So, is that really dysphoria? I don't know, because it is something that trans guys definitely experience, but it's not like a hard-set sex characteristic. It's just something that men tend to have more than women. But it's not something like having the Adam's apple or something.
And I wish I had broader shoulders.
Okay, broader shoulders. Yeah, I'll give that to you. That is a secondary sex characteristic for sure. That is like a bone structure thing. But interestingly enough, she didn't bring that up in her other video where she talked about her non-binary dysphoria. I mean, it could have been just that she didn't want to bring that up. But I just want to bring up also that it's just a few things that she brings up, and she doesn't mention... It's funny because she says she wants to get top surgery, but she doesn't wish that she had a flat chest. She doesn't feel disgusted with the fact that she has breasts. And, you know, she might feel that's too personal for her. I'll give that to that. But why would you want top surgery if you don't feel uncomfortable with that? Why would you... It's hard... I mean, it's just, it doesn't seem like, why are you doing this transition to male if you just have a few characteristics that you feel uncomfortable with, is what I'm trying to say. Because dysphoria at its heart is an overall discomfort with your body. Sure, some people have it more severe than others, but that's what it is. You don't pick and choose, you know, and sure, so you may definitely have more discomfort with some characteristics than with others, but again, it's like this general discomfort. And she's just saying, like, oh, I just don't like this part of my body, and I don't like these other parts of my body. Well, sure, that's the same thing with everyone on the planet. Is that really dysphoria, though? I mean, with her, I don't know. And that's the thing that really concerns me with her going on hormones. But, again, I don't want to stick on that point.
So the next thing that I want to talk about is what being non-binary looked like for me as a kid before I knew what the word transgender was, before I knew what the word non-binary was.
Okay, stop conflating those two words. Transgender and non-binary are not the same thing. They're not.
What did my childhood look like? So I remember that when I was a little kid, my favorite color was green because it's not a boy color or a girl color.
Oh, this was the part I was waiting for. This was the reason I decided to respond to this video. This is evidence that she's non-binary, and this is like the trump card that she's playing this. So it doesn't even matter that she says that she has physical dysphoria, right? It matters that, look, I was non-binary ever since I was a child because I liked the color green. This is exactly like that trans guy who said that he was non-binary because he liked pink. But it's funny because pink is traditionally associated as a girl color. So why is he non-binary because he likes pink, but she's non-binary because she likes green?
And I remember before I started puberty, when I was maybe like 7 or 8, I was very young, I wanted a blend of masculine and feminine physical features. I remember I wanted to like pick and choose from these two puberties what exactly I wanted from them.
Okay, again, you don't pick and choose. She has like such a fundamental misunderstanding of what puberty is, what hormones are, what transitioning is. You do not pick and choose. You may want to pick and choose. I'm sure, obviously, nobody's 100% masculine, nobody's 100% feminine. I'm sure a lot of people, if asked, could you pick and choose between masculine and feminine characteristics? I'm sure a lot of people would be like, sure, cool, I've always wondered what's it like to even maybe walk in the opposite sex's shoes for a day. Stuff like that. Like, a lot of people explore with gender roles. It doesn't make you trans. It doesn't make you non-binary. And she has such a misunderstanding. And this is why I don't think hormones are the right decision for her, especially because she doesn't want to transition to male. But the point is, that's not how it works. And that's not evidence of you being non-binary. I'm sorry.
Because I wanted broad shoulders, and I wanted a jawline, and I wanted hips and curves.
Okay, so you want hips and curves, too. Again, not mentioning the fact that she wants top surgery. I mean, I'm kind of missing something here, that the fact that she's getting a surgery that means that she will have a flat chest. Yet she doesn't even indicate that she ever wanted a flat chest. Again, I think I'm focusing too much on that, but moving on. That's not even a very important part.
But I also remember that when I was younger, I really wanted sideburns, so clearly I was a poor judge of taste. I just wanted a blend of these physical features, but it wasn't until I actually started going through puberty that I realized that wasn't exactly going to be an option for me.
Okay, so she's saying once she started going through puberty, she realized that her ideal dream of having both sex characteristics, and by the way, there are plenty of changes in puberty that both males and females go through, that just aren't like sex characteristics that distinguish men from women. My question here would be, would realizing that ideal thing for her that wasn't going to happen, was it just realizing that your kind of dream as a kid wasn't going to happen? Was it just kind of a letdown to realizing that was going to happen, or was it real actual discomfort with your body while going through puberty? Because that's what dysphoria is majorly. Because that's what happened with a lot of trans people. They realized while going through puberty, and often went into denial about it, the sex characteristics they were developing, they really didn't like, and they wanted to stop them from developing. Because that just doesn't seem like what she's talking about. Again, maybe she's just not letting on fully what was going on with her. But it just doesn't seem like that's what she's talking about.
Or was it?
Okay, this is again another reason why I decided to respond. Or was it? She's saying, could I get the sex characteristics I couldn't get the sex characteristics I was talking about. Or could I? No, you couldn't, because there's no way to transition to non-binary. So she's implying that going on testosterone is going to give her both sex characteristics. It does not give you both sex characteristics. It does not. It does not give you both sex characteristics. It gives you male sex characteristics. Or at least very masculine sex characteristics to approximate male sex characteristics. It basically takes you through a male puberty as much as it possibly can. Now, obviously, there are parts of it that it can't change, but those are mostly things, your genitals and your reproductive organs, and the fact that you still have boobs. It's not gonna give you both. What are you talking about? She clearly doesn't know what
I wanted to go on testosterone ever since I first thought that I was a binary trans boy when I was 14.
See, and that would have made more sense if you did want to transition to male. But you don't. And so it doesn't make sense.
I've been interested in going on testosterone for 5 years. And for some reason, a lot of people thought that I only wanted to go on testosterone, and I thought about it for maybe 5 minutes, and then I started.
Okay, so I understand your frustration that people had a mistaken impression of you, but can you understand why they have that impression? Just because of the way that you treat your identity and your gender, like, oh, it's just so fun, I'm trans, look at me. A lot of people see those people as very uncertain of themselves and very uncertain of their decisions. And a lot of those people are, frankly, very uncertain of their decisions. People like you perpetuate that, I'm sorry.
And when I was 14, I thought that I was a binary trans boy, because I didn't realize that being non-binary was a thing that existed.
Okay, so she says that she didn't realize she was non-binary because she didn't think it existed. I'm sorry, but way before I knew what trans was, I knew something was going on. I didn't know what it was called, but I knew something was going on. And I was in denial about it for a long time, but I knew something was wrong. So, I don't know where you're getting at.
And so, I remember I felt uncomfortable when people referred to me as my gender assigned at birth. And I realized that the only reason I liked when people mistook me for a boy wasn't because I was a boy, but it was because it meant that I wasn't being read as my gender assigned at birth.
Okay, so this is all about her gender assigned at birth, which is female? Like, what? Is it triggering to her to say the word female? I don't get it. It's like, why is it so much about how other people perceive you? Shouldn't it be about how you perceive yourself and how you perceive your body? And I know this is turning about a conversation about her, but which I said it wouldn't be. But again, like, you're really spreading misconceptions about what it means to be trans, and in general, you're conflating this whole, oh, I have my special label and I want to be seen by other people, which is fine. If you want to call yourself non-binary and be seen as non-binary by other people, good luck. I mean, it's going to be hard. Especially because even though you're on testosterone, you do have a deeper voice, you still present as a female. I mean, it's fine if you want to go by as non-binary, but the fact that you're conflating something that isn't really going to be necessarily understood, and that certainly isn't the same thing as being trans, with trans, which can be understood because it's a valid scientific thing, and for all we know, so might non-binary be, but I don't think it is in many cases, and I'm really skeptical with her as well. Just the fact that you're conflating those two things is, again, what really irritates me.
But then I was like, well, I'm not that different gender either, so I must be something else entirely, because both of these things make me uncomfortable.
So, being referred to as two words make you uncomfortable. Therefore, that shapes the entirety of your gender. What?
I knew that I still had this body dysphoria, but I also felt weird because I knew that being read as a boy felt uncomfortable just as much as being read as a girl.
So the body dysphoria was secondary to how you were referred to. Got it. So she's acting like it's not even a big thing. Oh, dysphoria is not even a big thing. That's why I went on testosterone. And she actually said this in her video of why she's going on testosterone. It's all about how people refer to her. It's not actually about her body dysphoria. I think, again, she's spreading these misconceptions about trans people, like how people socially perceive you is a perfectly valid reason to go on hormones. It's not. Don't go on hormones because of how people socially perceive you. Don't get surgery because of how people socially perceive you. It should be about you. It should be about you and your dysphoria. All of the things that she mentioned could have been resolved by voice training exercises, by going to the gym, and it just irritates me. that this is the misconception that she's spreading. That, oh, if you like the color green, if you don't like being called a girl, basically if you're a tomboy, it's okay to take hormones and potentially permanently alter your body for life and call yourself transgender when there are actual people suffering. I don't think there's much more I have to say, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.